The Northman, out in theaters, latest film from Robert Eggers, director of The Witch and The Lighthouse, starring Alexander Skarsgard, Nicole Kidman, Claes Bang, Ethan Hawke and Anya Taylor-Joy in perhaps the most metal rendition of Hamlet ever made. Or to be precise, Amleth, because the story is based on the original Scandinavian legend, rather than the subsequent Shakespeare play that was inspired by it. It takes place at the turn of the 10th century. In the opening act, together with the young prince Amleth, we witness his father being murdered by his own brother, Uncle Fjolnir. The mother of the boy is taken away screaming, and his island kingdom is taken over completely. The boy manages to escape with his life out to sea, unbeknownst to anybody. Everybody assumes he's dead. Years later, we find him a member of another Viking tribe, sacking and burning Ukrainian villages. But an unexpected meeting with a witch, played by none other than Björk, awakens the memories of his youth and the long-forgotten pledge of vengeance, like in the trailer. I will avenge you, father, I will save you, mother, I will kill you, Fjolnir. And so he sets out on a journey to Iceland, where Fjolnir currently lives, to take everything away from him and fulfill his destiny. Now, I very much enjoyed the previous two Robert Eggers films. I think he has a certain style that is unmistakable, and his love of mixing accurately portrayed historical periods with tales of horror and fantasy has been pretty great. So my expectations were quite high for The Northman, and they have been exceeded. Because not only do I think that The Northman is his best work yet, I think it's a perfect 10 out of 10 movie for me, and I would recommend for anyone and everyone to go see it immediately on the largest screen you can find. It's majestic, it's brutal, it's haunting, badass, riveting and massively tragic all at once. The straightforward revenge story is sort of improved and enhanced by a lot of nuance along the way, with Amleth skirting the line between good and evil, and on the other hand Fjolnir, who turns out to be quite different than what we may have already imagined. There's a raw, animalistic quality to the film and its portrayal of Vikings and their beliefs and rituals. And there are just so many great, memorable moments that stick with you. The images just stay. The trippy ritual between Amleth and his father, the dance ritual before the attack on the Slavic village, the attack itself, all of the fight scenes, each of them different. The ending, which is just this incredible climax. It's, you know, the film is at times insane, at times disgusting, at times weird as hell, but always, always impressive. Alexander Skarsgard gives a fantastic performance. Seemingly, he's sort of like this beast caged in a man's body, very, very raw and savage. But at crucial moments, he manages to reveal this hurt little boy inside. Anya Taylor-Joy adds an air of feminine mystique that only she can. The cinematography is simply stunning all the way through. The long single takes during battles, the many close-ups on characters' faces, the sweeping landscapes of Iceland, the way different chapters have different vibes and color palettes, the way some of the night scenes look like a different black and white movie, the way the film draws on the Nordic mythology and beliefs and sprinkles in tons of fantastic details, the mentions of Valkyries, Odin's ravens, the Nordic beliefs regarding witchcraft and it being unbreakably tied to women in their society, the undead, the trolls, even a subtle reference to Mimir's head. Also just historical references, some of the things, like the time period that the movie takes place in, the people involved, some of those, maybe we couldn't call them directly historical figures, but those are people from those tales, from those legends that Nordic people passed down generations. Apparently Eggers worked with real historians to get, you know, everything he could right, and it shows because you really believe in this world, even with all the fantastical elements present. It just feels real. It draws you in and it never lets go. Finally, I want to mention the music, composed by Robin Carolan and Sebastian Gainsborough. It's almost like another character in the film, from the Slavic-sounding strings to the pounding drums and male chants which pump you up during the action sequences, and all the other smaller sounds and noises added in. Sometimes it's a whole wall of sound, but boy does it work. It just great stuff. I mean, you can probably see I just love the film through and through. I think it's fantastically made in every single aspect and commanded my attention for its entire runtime. I think there's nothing I would change about it, honestly. And then there was that moment when it ended. And by the way, it's one of the most fantastic ending shots in the history of cinema, in my opinion. But when it ended and cut to black, I felt my body release all this pent-up tension that I didn't even know I had. It was a terrific film and a terrific experience to see it in a movie theater. Truly, do go and watch it on the biggest screen possible, because you know how sometimes people years after talk about the film that they've just seen on streaming and they say, "Oh, I wish I saw it in a theater back in the day. I missed it, but you know, I wish I saw it on the big screen because that must have been a great experience." This is one of those films.